Hello everyone, as you know I am Paul, your e-hobby guy, and in today's video we are going to completely eliminate all of the frustrations that come along with bad charging cables or wall chargers for your mobile devices. We are going to use this USB voltmeter ammeter to very simply, instantly determine whether the charger is bad, the cable is bad, or possibly even whether your mobile device connector is bad. We are even going to take it a step further and test the output of these chargers under load to see if you're actually getting what is being claimed on these chargers. So let's jump right in. First things first, I just want to point out this is a voltmeter ammeter that I bought on eBay. Just search for the term USB voltmeter and you'll see this pop up. It costs about $8. This tester will work in all countries because the voltage that comes out of USB wall chargers is standardized at 5 volts DC. So I'm going to start out with this 3.4 amp dual charge USB wall charger. I'm just going to plug it in here. Now the first test that we can do is just plugging this in like this. Let me hit my power switch over here and you can see I'm getting a display here. Now what this indicates is that there's a voltage present in this charger. It's one of the two things that we're going to test for on a charger to see if it's actually good. We're halfway there with this charger. Now this has a dual USB charger, so I'm going to switch it over to the second one just to see if that one is also good. Yes, I'm also getting 5 volts here, 50% there. Let's go to the next step. The next step is to plug in something that needs to get charged. Here I have an iPod Touch. I am just going to plug this in. Now what we're looking for when I plug this in, we want a current flowing. If there is not a current flowing, there's still one of two things it could be. A bad cable, or this could still be bad. Now this tester happens to have two outputs, one on this side and one on this side. For simplicity, I'm just going to use the top one here. I do have 5 volts. I have 0.6 amps flowing. My iPod is charging. Conclusively, right now I can say this charger is good and this cable is good. Again, because this is a dual charger, I will switch it over to the other side and see if we are getting current. And yes, we are. So both USB ports on this charger, I can now say that I've confirmed this is a good charger and this cable is also a good cable. So I've switched my cable over here to what I believe to be a bad cable, because I want to show you on the display here what it would look like. I'm going to plug this in. Now as you can see, I'm plugged in. I don't have any current flowing. I've got all zeros here. And so I have verified that this is definitely good. I've got a voltage. My cable is hooked up the same way, but I'm not getting any current flowing. This cable is junk. Throw it away. Switching over to another charger, it just takes place in the same way. This voltage is a little high at 5.37 volts. I'm a little weary about using it. I'm just going to go ahead in good faith and plug in a cable I have not tested to see if this is going to give us a charge. I am not getting a charge. You can see once again all zeros of 5.37. I'm going to go back to what I knew and we've confirmed is a good cable. This is the cable that we've just tested and verified to be good. So let's give this a whirl. Yes, we are getting a current 0.43 amps. This one I just tested is not good, was absolutely brand new. Unused. You can still see it was coiled up. So this one was disappointing. I have verified that this is good, and of course we've already verified that this cable is good. For the wall chargers, finally, I'm just going to move over to this single port USB. We'll give this a test. And yes, I am getting 5 volts and 0.62 amps in current. So this wall charger is also good. Now the one thing that we haven't talked about is if I have a good cable and I know my device is good, there's a situation where I may not get a current flowing. All of the chargers so far that I've tested are working. I don't have a non-working charger. If I do have a proven good cable and a good working device, but the charger is not putting a current out, it could have a voltage but not be able to put current out. If it has a zero current, we can determine at that point that the charger itself is bad. Once again, a proven good cable with a voltage and no current, the charger is probably bad. Here I have a questionable mobile device. It's an Android tablet that's only had about 2 hours of service and it doesn't seem to be taking a charge. I am going to switch over to this micro USB, which is what it takes. I am getting a current. Now I've had a lot of problems with this. We're getting a low charge. It just jumped up. It's jumping around somewhat right now. The voltage dropped down tremendously too. Current is jumping around the place. Something is not right with this. If you look at both the voltage and the current, they seem to be jumping around. The voltage is quite below the 5 volts and the current is 0.38, jumping up into the 0.6 amp range. I'm just going to press the power button here, see if I can get any action whatsoever to show up on the screen. Yes, I'm actually going to leave this. I'm going to pause this video and see what happens because I haven't been able to get any charge on this, and I'll get back to you with the results. I just think it's worth noting here, it's ironic that I would just start the video, the voltage jumped up to almost 5 volts, which is exactly what we're looking for, and the current jumped to around 1 amp, which is the rating for this charger. And it's ironic, I just hit the record button, but it dropped out completely. I think we have a seriously defective device here. And so you can see with this device we can clearly determine whether the charger is good, the cable is good, and whether the device itself is good. Now I want to point out this older voltmeter ammeter that I bought. I'm going to show you a little test I'm doing just to test this, because I was getting suspicious readings from this, and that's why I went and purchased this one. And so if I just plug this in here, I should get the same readings for voltage and amp. There it is reoriented, but this switches between voltage and amps. You get about 3 seconds on amps, 3 seconds on volts. Here I'm reading 5.08 volts, 5.09. That's perfectly good. If I plug my iPod back in and I plug it in here, I'm going to get a current flowing through this meter and this one. There we go. Now I just want to point out the current is the same, 0.83, but look at the voltage, 4.7, 4.8. Here I'm reading 5 volts. The voltage reading on this was definitely questionable, and like I said, it led me to go out and purchase this one. This cost about $3. This one was about $8. As a recommendation, I would definitely pay a little bit more. You get both displayed at the same time and not switching like this one. And I think the quality is just a little bit better. I just want to show you really quickly the same procedure would take place for a car charger, except you would do it in your car. It's more convenient for me to do it here, and so I'm just going to apply a voltage from my power supply here. So there we go. We are getting a 5.32 volt, which is a little high again. Let me just plug my iPod back in. And I am getting a nice charge, 0.83 amps. The voltage remains steady at 5.23. This is working quite well. Let me switch to the B channel. Whenever there's two ports in a wall charger and in this car charger, many times one channel will be rated at a higher current rating than the other. If you have something to charge more quickly, you would put it in the one that's rated at a higher current. This one, the A channel, is rated higher than the B. We'll take a quick look at A again. I steadied out here at about 0.83 amps. Let's move down to the B channel. I'm getting around the same. This is definitely working. I'll look at this to see what it's rated. This one is telling me that there's a total of 2.1 amps for the whole thing. It didn't quite tell me the output for channel A and for channel B. It's just saying A for iPad, B for others. I'm guessing channel A is the higher rated channel. Similar with this wall adapter, one is rated at 2.4 amps, the other is rated at 1 amp. That brings us to the load testing. We're going to test these chargers to see if they can put out this much power. I did buy this 99-cent load tester. Now on here, this says 1 amp on this side and 2 amps on this side. And it looks like essentially what we have is two high wattage, low resistance resistors that are going to set a load on the charger. I'm going to just confirm what I'm suspecting. Let me test one of these resistors. Yes, I am getting 5.5 ohms on that one. Turn it around. And 5.6 ohms on that. Let me flip the switch, retest the resistant half. What this switch is doing, and I did check it out with the traces here, is it's joining both ends of these resistors together to have them in parallel, which effectively halves the resistance. In this setting, we have about 3 ohms of resistance. So this should be the 2 amp, and I will verify, yes, with the switch on this side, it says 2 amps. The other side, 1 amp. Now, I did do some testing with this, but I used the actual value of the resistors instead of this 2 amp and 1 amp setting, because that didn't make sense. It was definitely way off. So using the actual values for the resistance and the actual readings for current, I got in the 2 amp setting, I got 1.75 amps of current, giving me 9.38 watts. And in the 1 amp setting, I got 0.87 amps, which gave me 4.23 watts. This is the only one that is really meaningful. It's the highest one. It actually is rated 5 volts 2.4 amps, which would give 12 watts. The 9 is less than 12. This is not capable, because of the resistances, of putting a high enough load to see if it does reach to 12 watts. What it does tell me, it does make me happy in the sense that I do know I can get 1.75 amps out of this comfortably. In wrapping up, you can see how useful this is as a tool. It costs about $8, and if you go through as many of these as I do, it's definitely worth the investment. You should definitely have one, at least one per household. I hope this video shed some light on how to test your cables and how to test your power supplies. There's my dog Tig yawning. If this video was helpful at all, please give it a thumbs up. Click the circle with my picture in it to subscribe to this channel. Follow me on social media. Thank you for watching. See you next time.